Hello, as of now, if you're catching the replay, you're gonna have to pan forward a few minutes. I'm just getting everything up so I can check my view, make sure that we are set up well today for our live painting. I will be working, I'm gonna do 20 more rocks today. So we'll do 4 designs, 5 rocks of each design. And I'm gonna wait a few minutes before I get started here, just because it is just a little early. I won't officially start till 2:30. So if you're joining in now, just hang tight, or you can pop back in a couple minutes. But sometimes I hit go and things aren't lined up well, and I just like to make sure things are lined up really well. For those of you that are here already, feel free to say hello in the chat. Let me know if you're going to be painting with me today. I saw quite a few painted rocks from last week, so that's always fun to see. So you have plenty of time, Janet. You got time to get there and back. It's funny because I've got a little bit of a delay to my iPad here, and so I'm not seeing comments over here yet. I'm seeing them on my phone, but I have to be kind of up to see those. So hopefully they'll start popping in the chat here live. Let me try closing. This is why I get on early though, so that I can, there we go. Now I see them. What are we painting today? Well, I don't want to answer now in case you're not there. Well, hello, Sally. Hello, Nova. Hello. So today, just like last week, I'm going to do 3 designs that we've done before, but our favorites, and 1 new design. The new design, just based on your guys' comments last week, that I decided that I'm going to do the poison apples today. So we're going to do something like this. We're going to do 5 of them. So I don't know if I'm going to mix and match colors of apples and poison. You guys can kind of let me know in the comments if you've got a suggestion. We're also going to do our cute spiders. I do usually do the cute spiders with acrylic paint and brushes and dotting tools. Today I'm going to do them with my paint pens, just to kind of show like they're versatile. You can do them with your paint pens too if you don't do brushes, or if you don't have dotting tools. I've even used erasers on their eyes before. Then we're also going to do our mummies, which I have been doing mummies every year since 2018, which is wild. It's one of our oldest Halloween tutorials, and I just really love them. They're very beginner friendly. I like to add a little pop of color to them, so they always look fun on the table. And then last, we are going to do our black cats, and we've only been doing those for a little while. Oh, sorry, I'm just sitting still. Can you actually, now is that better? I am waiting until 2:30 to start painting, because that's when the live was scheduled for. I always like to turn it on a couple minutes early to make sure that my screen, sometimes I'm off-centered or the chat isn't working or anything like that. So video's working now, right? I think it was just because I was out of screen. Yes, okay, cool. Yeah, so we're just waiting like 2 more minutes because that's the scheduled starting time. So if anybody like had a timer set to join, I don't want to be painting already when they get here. As far as supplies, I'm going to be using all the same stuff from last week. So this year I'm using the 4 different items in the shop, and obviously they're interchangeable with what you have, but we've got 2 styles of rocks that we're working with today. I got a 50 pack of these and a 50 pack of these. I'm going to be using the dual tip Art paint pens again today, and then I've got the jewel tone colors in the back as well that I might pull from, but I'm going to stick to kind of they're colors that you can use, whatever ones that you have, whatever brand of paint pens you have. I'm not doing any manipulation with water or anything like that, so no brushes, no water today. But yeah, other than that, we're just ticking down 1 more minute here, and we will get going. And Brenda, you are going to be painting along today. I like to hear it. It's always fun to see those. I really loved seeing those in the comments. So for those of you that weren't here last week, so when I'm done with this video. It takes a little while for the live to completely upload onto YouTube. You can get to the replay of it pretty quick, but the quality of it isn't great right at the beginning. So while it's like buffering or processing, I wait before I share it on Facebook. But once it's done processing, I'll share an image on Facebook of the finished rocks like I did last week. And if you guys painted along, please drop them in those comments, because it's very encouraging for others to see that you're painting along or you've painted them as well, because you know, sometimes people think, oh, I'm a professional or whatever. Obviously, I'm doing tutorials that I think you can do as well. So, all right, 2:30, it's officially 2:30, so we're gonna get started. So the first ones are gonna work on here. We're gonna do the cute spiders. A lot of times I have them holding signs. You can definitely do these with a paintbrush, like I said before. In all the years past, I've done these with acrylic paints. So I'm just gonna do them with paint pens today because that's what I've got on hand. I'm gonna actually shift my spider slightly to the side here. So often I have them holding signs that say something cute or something fun for Halloween. So I wanna have the space. So I kind of think about that when I place the spider body, but we just do a big, huge round circle, but I don't like it to be a flat edge. So I'm just gonna almost do like a swirly edge circle like this. He's gonna be like a, you know, fuzzy, cute spider. So we're just gonna go like that, so we don't have any perfect edges, and fill that in like that. And I'm gonna just do that on every single one of my rocks, and you'll see I'm gonna place them in different spots on each rock, and we'll play around with what we're gonna do. I was thinking this year, just to mix it up a little bit, maybe we'll have a couple of them holding like a trick-or-treating pail or something like that. And you can do the body size just, you know, based on what size of rocks you've got. These ones are a pretty good size, so I can have a pretty good size spider on there. But I want to get these down so that they have some time to dry, so that we're able to do our eyes, because our eyes are quite a few layers. We're going to do a big, huge white circle, and then we're going to do a black pupil on top of that, and then a white highlight on top of that. So that's why I like to work with batches of rocks for Halloween, because I can set them to the side for dry time while I'm working on something else. I feel like it sits better. So if you saw, I just adjusted. So sometimes this has just a slightly flatter bottom to it. So if somebody's gonna lean it, you could even do these this way as well. Here, maybe I'll do this one this way, just so we have a different look. But I always try to envision, if somebody takes one home, if a little kid takes one home and wants to just set it up on a mantle or something, I want it to sit. I don't want it to rock and roll to the side. So if it does sit better one way, sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes the rocks just don't work with you in that way. Okay, last one here. And I'm not sure if the white is gonna be bright white for the webbing on one pass, and I usually put that down before my circle, but I didn't. But we're just gonna go ahead and get that on there too really quick. So I'm actually, so that's what's cool about these. I'm gonna use the fine tip on this side, make sure these have been sitting here since last week. Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna carefully, so you can see on the edge here, the very edges of this is already starting to dry. You can kind of see that. So I'm not going to accidentally pull any of that black paint into my white. So I just don't want it to bleed in. So I'm going to do a line straight up to the top of my rock. And I do not do really intricate webs here. I just give him a spot that he's hanging from. So just kind of like that. And then I do have the web usually pop out on the bottom, because that's where it gives you a place to have their legs going to. Let's see, so you don't leave a space circle for this. Normally I put them on top with dotting tools, so you could avoid 2 circles if you're worried about it, but these paint pens have been covering pretty well, so I'm not super worried about the coverage. It might need 2 coats. That on each of these. I'm trying to line it up as much as possible. You can put your line straight down before you put your spider on there. that would ensure that you have a little bit more of a straight spot. This is covering really well though, so I don't know that I'm going to need a second coat on that. Okay. There we go. And if you do like to paint along, I know one of the reasons I do these videos over here on YouTube instead of on Facebook is you can cast it up to your television. And I know there was a couple people that were painting along last week that mentioned you can't chat while you're doing that, which is fine. But you can paint along. You know what? It's funny I put him on here, but I'm actually going to turn this one this way too, just so we have a couple going in that direction. Okay. We could probably get away with doing legs now, but I'm just going to wait. I'm going to set them to the side. That gives them all kind of a little jumping off point that we can let those black sections dry. When we come back and do our eyes, we're going to do them in layers. All right, so next section, I had a couple of these smaller stones in this set. So I thought, what can I do on the smaller ones? And I thought the mummies would work out pretty well for these. So the mummy side rocks, or mummy style rocks, can be done in any different size. Yay, Tammy, I'm glad you're painting along as well. What size of pens do you use? I think mine are too big. So this set here, these are dual tip. I just got these. Last week was the first time I ever used them. And it's got an extra fine tip side. And the other side is actually medium tip. I misspoke last week. I thought it was a fine tip. But after I kind of looked at it a little bit more, I was like, this is actually bigger. So you get the nice extra fine tip. And then you get the medium tip as well. As opposed to... So the fine tips, let's see if I've got a post over here. So this is more, that one's kind of beat up. Let me find one that's not as beat up because it's going to be a more accurate depiction of it. There we go. So as opposed to, that's more of the fine tip that you can get with like the post brand ones. So there's a difference there. So it is a little bit of a difference. This is a really good, I'm finding, it would be a good starter pack if you're getting into pens for the first time, because you do have both options in there. Because basically anything you could have done with the fine tip, you can do with the extra fine tip. It just might take you a little bit more time. So for the mummies, I like to add a little pop of color to my mummies so they're not just white. So I'm going to use some of my fun jewel tones that I was using from last week. I've got 5 of those out here that I was using, which is funny because, I had the green out from doing the pumpkin stems. So I'm gonna just grab these because I just want to see how these play when it coming to blending in. But you can do these with dots of any water-based paint pens that you can use, that you have. I need to go clean off some, oops. Hopefully they get time to dry a little bit. You could always just use a damp paper towel. Don't put them all the way under the water. They dry a lot faster that way. So for the mummy rocks, I've been doing these ones. Like I said, the mummies are from 2018. So I've been playing around with these for a long time. They always come together well. So the first thing you need to do is you figure out where you're going to have your eyes. I like to have the eyes kind of peeking out, and I know you can kind of see this on the white. Just place down 2 eyes before you start doing your stitching so that you can have your opening around your eyes. So you're just going to start putting rectangles down on your rock. And I know this is white on white, but you can see that still, right? Yeah. So you're going to do the rectangles, and it's going to end up covering like everything, but I like having my paintbrush or my pen strokes going the same direction. I also like my bandages to completely come to the side of my eyes. So we're going to add a couple here and here. But if you leave your strokes in the direction of your bandages, it helps you kind of find them when you're adding your outlines. So we're just going around and adding these bandages on. And yes, the whole thing is going to end up just about all white. Trust the process. This one's been one I've been doing a really long time. This first one will take a little bit longer so you can kind of see the breakdown of it, but and go this way up here. All right. So now your rock is basically covered with the white. You've got the opening where the eyes are going to be at. And the opening can be big or small. You can have the bandage cut across an eye. I've done that before too. This one's smaller, so maybe I can do that with this one. So just get your eyes on there and then you can go over it. So if you wanted to cut across the eye, just cut across it. It's white on white. It's not really going to mess anything up. So you can decide how much you want peeking through of your mummy. But just get all those stitches on there. And when we add our color and our lining is when it really comes together. This one's definitely one of the trust the process rocks. Those are my favorite because when people see them, they think they're really cool and you're like, I did that. I do tend to have one that's kind of straight across the bottom, I guess. I'd never noticed that I've done that on every single one of my rocks. Okay, there's 3. And if you're just joining in, we're doing 5 of each rock. That way I can get through 20 rocks during each one of my lives. One of the lives I'll have to do 21. But we're gonna get 101 rocks done for Halloween. And we did 20 last week. And that go all the way through. So what did we do last week? We did our skull flowers, monsters. I'm trying to think. They're over on the table, are out of sight, out of mind, that fast. Let's see here. Skulls, monsters, the boo eyes, and the cute pumpkins. That's what it was. I have my notes to the side here, my little Post-its. You guys know I always have my Post-its around with all my little doodles and notes. I was really excited with the boo rocks. Those ones, I already went and made a little 3-minute tutorial to share on the Facebook page. And I think I shared it here on YouTube as well, but they were well received. They turned out very cute. And I just like that there's so many ways that you can do them. I do put rocks around town sometimes. These I'm specifically working on because I give out rocks to the trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood for Halloween. So I do 101 rocks last year, the year before. I've been doing this for a while now. So I do also have a tree in my front yard that I put them in a lot. We're gonna go ahead and move these up because we're gonna bounce around a little bit, guys. So if you've never joined in on a live like this, I do like to bounce around so that I can make sure that everything is getting done around the same time and we don't have too much dry time. So we're gonna go ahead and put the whites on here because it may need a second coat. It's possible. Now, so when laying it on top, I'm just gonna make sure that my paint pen is flowing really well. I shouldn't have to use a lot of pressure to get it. Can you guys see that? Yeah. I shouldn't have to use a lot of pressure to get the paint to come off. See, like I'm not pushing down very hard and the paint's coming off. That means it's flowing well. So I'm gonna kind of hold this to the side. I'm gonna put 2 giant circles on here for the whites of his eyes. Oops, see, so I did get a little bit of black there. See, if you get a little on there, just come to your paper. You just basically have to force the paint through the tip is what you're doing. You gotta find that spot. There it is. Just get it off. Doodle back to white. Okay. So that one was not completely dry. That's okay. I also only try to hit each spot once, like try not to go over it a bunch of times. If you're not happy with the shape, you can zhuzh the shape later. Another thing with these, if you're really having a hard time getting them the same size, you can purposefully mix and match, okay? Sometimes that's like a little trick. Like instead of trying to get them exactly the same, if you make them off on purpose, you don't have to go back and forth trying to even them out. So I'll do a couple like that too. They're kind of mixed and matched. It's like I like to do something different when I redo rocks. I mean, I've done these guys quite a few times, so. Okay. So there we go. So now those can be drying over here as well. Just wanted to get that down. We'll fix that one. So again, I'm just gonna make sure that there's no more black in there before I cap this. So see, it's all the way back to white again, okay? Just gotta work that through. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. What else are we doing? The black cats. The black has to dry so we can do eyes. So let's do our black cats. So I've got 5 rocks here, and I tried to find ones that were a little bit more vertical in kind of shape. I like to make my cats kind of long and skinny looking for Halloween. So the black cats are super forgiving because since they're all black, you can kind of overlap without having to worry about your lining all that much. So let's move these just over a smidge here. So when creating your cat, you can make a lot of simple variations to this, but this is just your build, okay? So you're gonna do your head. So I'm gonna put on an oval here. And then the ears, I like to start at the outer edge of the head and go straight up. So straight up and then come down to the point. So straight up, oop, shaky hands, and then down to the head, okay? And it doesn't matter if you go, we're coloring this all in black, okay? And then for the body, I like to kind of think of like a skinny neck vase. Like, you know how it pinches at the top? It doesn't matter how big of a bulge you make, and I'll make a bunch of different shapes on here, but you wanna have a neck, okay? So make sure you bring it in at the neck, and then you're gonna create like a vase style shape. And you can do these all different. I'll make all different shapes here, okay? So there's our vase style shape. Let's do, this one's really wide, so we can I'll show you how you can do. So straight up. So you can have it really little like this, but then you can have it come way out and be like way over here, like big chubby cat, okay? You can have a really tall skinny cat where it's like really thin at the top. You can let your rock kind of dictate as well, like how you're gonna have your cat shape be. But if you're not happy with your shape, another reason why these are great for beginners is you only have to be happy with the outermost edge of your shape. So if I didn't like this, I wanted him to be chubbier earlier, you can just come back and bring it out fatter at the top. Just make sure you keep that neckline thin where it connects to the head. That's how you're gonna keep your actual cat shape to it. So one more here. See, that was really wonky. There we go. Okay. All right. So we've got our cat shapes. Now you're gonna decide where you want its tail to go, and you can have fun with the tail. You can have it do whatever you want. So you're just gonna take from one of the hips, one of the sides here, and just, I always like to just do it in a single line, and then you can decide like how you wanna thicken it up, like which way, based on like where the space is on your rock. Then you can kind of thicken up the tail as much as you want based on the size of your actual cat. So this one's gonna curl all the way over like that. And you can wait to thicken it up too to when you're filling in so that you can gauge it. You can always make it bigger. You can't make it skinnier again, right? You can also have the tail come from behind the body because it's all gonna be filled in, so you can come like this. You could follow this way. You can go behind the head and then come back around like that. Okay. And let's just go this one. Let this one curl behind the head as well. Main frame there. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip over to the other side of my pen. I might use, actually, I'm just gonna get into the very tips of these ears really quickly. It's really the only spot that I'm worried that the tip at the other edge might not get in there very good. Oh, Marge, yes. Well, I'm glad. Yes, this one you can touch up if your line gets a little shaky. Like, look, I even splattered right here. I don't know if I shook or whatever, but yeah. So when I come in and fill in, I'll be able to clean that up easy. But I have a lot of tutorials that you might enjoy on the page. All right. So now we're just gonna fill these in solid black. So I'm not gonna over talk through this. That way I can get these, whoop, that's really flowing. So a lot of times I'll fill centers in and then I kind of bring it to the edge. Probably because that's what I would do with a brush as well. Gonna lay your paint down in the middle. See, by going over that line, I got rid of that shaky spot, just like that. We'll do it again on this one over here. Okay, and this is, I'm gonna go back with the extra fine tip to do my tail. I just don't want it to accidentally get away from me and end up too thick with this paint pen. Because again, you can always make something thicker. Making it thinner when you're going directly on the rock like this is tricky. All right, so here's the other one. We have this little blue pier that we made. So just when I'm filling, I'm just gonna stretch out over that, just like that. And it's like it never happened. And you could definitely leave these cats just like this. They actually look pretty cute on these white stones, just the black cat, but we are gonna add some bright eyes to these. I just think it looks cute. And once you're completely filled in and it dries, then you'll be able to kind of adjust or look for any areas. Like now that this one's drying, I can tell that right side of his jaw looks a little bit small, but I'm gonna wait till it's done and I'll go in with my extra fine tip and touch that up. And once we're done with these, actually, I'm gonna take one quick intermission on these, and I'm gonna fix the white on this one's eye so that I can do, once I fill these in, we're gonna come back. Yeah, we might have to wait a little longer, but I just don't want to forget that I need to get this on here. And really, I only need the outer edge to be white because we're gonna put huge pupils on these. Like it's almost gonna cover that entire white spot. I probably could have gotten away with doing a white circle, but drawing a white circle, a perfect circle like that would be a little bit tricky. All right. And then we'll get going on these poison apples. I haven't done one yet. I always put the new ones off because I'm always still formulating in my mind exactly how I want to go about it. Main thing is just take your time. If you need to take breaks or set your pens down, shake your hand out. My husband was looking up hand yoga for me because my hands just get sore now. When I'm holding the pen for too long, or it happens with brushes too, because I hold so I can't convince myself not to. It's like a subconscious thing, but I hold on to my pens so tight in my mind. I think that's part of the control, like how to keep good control is you have a good firm grip on your pen. Unfortunately, when I edit videos, it's the same thing with my mouse, like because I'm constantly like clicking and dragging and things like that. Okay, last one here. And I am gonna, maybe I'll do the tails real quick on these two, just so they technically could be done. I don't know if it's because it's on the white rock, but they kind of look a little like chic, just being the black on white look. All right, so that tail actually looks pretty good to me. Kind of like where that one landed. Now the extra fine tip paint pens you have to be careful with when you're working directly on the rock because they can splatter. Most of the time it's because you're pressing too hard. So just, sometimes I think people try to draw too fast too. Like it has to refill the paint. So you got to pull nice and slow. Okay. Oh, I just saw, can you see the mummy? Yes. Well, here's one of the mummies. We'll go back and we'll be working on these in just a second again too. But yes, I'll let you see it there so you can catch up on them before we get back in there with our colors. Okay, pretty happy with those, and they are drying nicely. Which one was the jawline I was going to fix? This one. It just looks like it's uneven. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to move these kitty cats to the side. Well, It's funny, Mark, that you say that because I know some people try to keep complete pace and some people will do like one of each of the five. So you can kind of watch one, and then when I move to the next couple, you can be painting one. But yes, you can always come back. And the mummies, the spiders, and the cats are already on the page in shortened little 3-minute tutorials. So once you've seen it once, if you want to just pull that up to kind of refresh, but not like have to watch this entirely, because it is long. We'll be on, last week we were on for like 2 hours. So, all right, so I've got some of my jewel tone colors here. These were the ones that we were using last week. This works with whatever color you want. Or you can leave them white like this and just skip to the lining that I'm gonna do. This does take a little bit of bravery with your paint pens because we are going to be putting color down and wiping through it with our white paint pen. Have you done tutorials on the 3 different colored ghosts? I'm gonna guess yes, because if you've seen, I'm not sure which ghosts you're talking about specifically, but if you've seen a picture of them, there's probably a tutorial that goes along with them. I have a lot of different ghosts that I've done actually for the page. All right, we're gonna start with a pink mummy. All right, so if you wanna add color, you're gonna do this. If you don't wanna add color, you don't have to do this. You could even just add a touch of gray if you just wanna not have it be completely white. But this, I think these are just fun. The kids like the color pops. So I'm just gonna kind of dab in the direction. This is why I was telling you, leave your brush strokes in the direction that you were going. And while that's still wet, we are gonna swipe with it and we'll see how these ones do. This is my first time with these. Well, I think we're gonna have to go heavier. Got a little bit there. So we're gonna go heavier, or we'll go into the white while the white's wet. Just to add this little pop of color, but we're going in that same direction as the bandages. That's why we kind of like to leave behind the brush strokes of the paint pen. Again though, this is, I promise, just trust the process on this one. The lining is what does it for these. It brings it all together. And then once you kind of got your colors on there, your color pop, then I'm just gonna take and I'm gonna doodle back to white. So see that? Boom, 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 boom. There's a little smidge on there, but I'm not gonna go crazy only because I know I'm gonna do that like 5 more times. All right, so you can kind of see up closer. See just a little bit of pink in there. Not going crazy, just a pop of color, okay? We're gonna do the same thing with the rest of our colors. This one's probably gonna look nice and grungy, bandagey. And it might just depend on the color. This one seems like it's a little more wet. Maybe my pink needed to be primed a little bit. Also, the first swipes you do with your white's gonna have more white on it. It will slowly kind of pick up that color. Okay, let's go into the orangey color here. Well, welcome, Jamie. So I have been doing the lives for, this is the second one for our Halloween rocks. I do 101 rocks for Halloween, and the last couple years I've been popping on and doing lives while I'm painting my 101 rocks. So it's not always happening, but we have a good time. You can paint along if you want. Yes, Tammy, gray works great. If you don't want to do like colory colors. Colory colors. So you like that grammar. So I just kind of like to hit it until I don't like to see the base color, but you want to leave those kind of streaky That's again why we're pulling in the direction of our bandages. Thank you. The mummies, I was saying earlier, the first time we did mummies was back in 2018. It was like literally one of our very first Halloween tutorials. It was before I was really doing them for the trick-or-treaters. I would just do them and kind of hide them around during Halloween season. But these ones have been a favorite. We did them in pastels last year, so now we're doing these jewel tones this year. I think the original ones I only did with yellow tinting in them, but there's a lot of options. Yeah, I might have had just a tinge of my orange on there still, but that's okay. Okay, one more here, and we're doing purple next, so I guess that can blend in with a little blue, wouldn't hurt anything. But if you do notice, I try to remember to cap my pen in between, because even though it's not there for very long, I don't want to have to pulse it because I don't want it flowing too much, because then it's just going to wash out my color completely. Which way is this going? Okay. Just be super intentional with these strokes. That's what's going to help you at this next step we're going to do, which is technically the next time we touch these, we will be wrapping them up. We'll let these dry just a smidge. And at this point in time, all right, so see, we're doodling out. I'm back to white. So this is something you kind of have to have a little faith. I see a little purple smidge there. Do make sure that you take the time to make sure you're back to white, because the worst thing ever is if you go to pull out your white another time to use it and you get a purple blob. I have to put it down or I'll just keep going. I don't know. I don't even know what I said. You guys, I ramble so much. It's funny because I can't have music on in the background because then I'll get like a licensing thing. Like you can't have like licensed music playing. And I can't just sit here in silence because it's just strange for it to be in silence the whole time. So I kind of tend to ramble. I'm sure you guys have realized that by now. All right, there we go. All right, just doubling up the eyes there. I am going to peek. The spider eyes are looking pretty good. This guy dried okay. I think we're going to go back and add our black on these. This guy looks like he needs a little bit on the edge there. All right. So now we're going to go back and add really large pupils. We'll wrap up the mummy. That was an unintended pun, but very good. Nice catch. So we are going to add on our black pupils, and I like to make them huge because spiders like to hide in the dark, right? So they would have really big pupils, right? No, they'd have really small, really big pupils. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take it to the edge of my white, kind of as close as I can without making too big of a mistake. Now I could always come back with my extra fine white and touch up. And I can come back with my extra fine black and get it closer if I feel like I'm having a hard time with this. It's a little wonky. We might have to fix that with our extra. But let's just get them down first. It's easier to get it down and then come back and touch up. I just don't want to work this paint too much because that white, while it's dry to the touch, you could probably still disturb it underneath a little bit. So just get them on the best you can, and then we can come back with the extra fine and touch it up a little bit. Yes, I do. Different music does affect the way that you are painting for sure. AC/DC would get the blood pumping. Oops. You guys just saw that, didn't you? Obviously, everybody just saw that. I can watch the replay to the side. I don't even know what I did. Just dropped it. So I'm gonna fill that in. We'll come back with the white extra fine tip. So this is the first year I'm doing these with the paint pens, and I am already gonna tell you, the dyeing tools, way easier, I have to say. Or even just the erasers. I've used erasers for my dyeing tools before. It's just easier to get circles. You would think circles, basic shape. You can kind of see through, so this might need a second coat. But this is why I like doing these lives. You guys are gonna see how I zhuzh them up, because you know I'm not gonna let them look like junk. So we're just gonna get this first coat on here, and we'll let them sit to the side and think about themselves a little bit. They're being a pain. All right, we're also gonna put on some legs though, and we're also gonna decide, are we holding things? What are we holding? I like to do signs. Sometimes I like to do, okay, I've only ever done signs. I was thinking I wanted to do a jack-o'-lantern, like one of them could be holding like a pail, like, so I think it's easier to have the things that they're gonna hold on the rock before we do the legs, just so you know where the legs need to go instead of the other way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and place on, let's see here, you just decide where you want your signs to be. So I'm gonna do this one, it's gonna be a big sign along the top. Okay. This guy, we're gonna give him like the 3 letters. Done it like that before. I think those always look pretty cute. Okay, we're gonna give these 2 a pail, and then we're just gonna do a little sign on this one. This one doesn't have as much extra space. You have a big space next to yours? Yeah, you can do a big sign. I'm gonna do a little pumpkin here, like just the very like classic bucket style. I'm just gonna get an orange bucket on here. Give it a handle. It's like, should I do the handle orange so you can see it better? I think I'm going to, because his leg is gonna be black. Just something a little bit different to the standard spiders that we do. All right, we're gonna set those ones to the side now. Let's finish our mummies. I wanna have one done. Let's see, how long have we been on here? I've got like a thing on my screen that's covering almost an hour and we don't have any done. So yes, we have to finish. We're gonna finish 5. The rest of them, we'll get to those poison apples, I promise. All right, we're gonna go with the extra fine tip side of our paint pen, or if you have just the standard extra fine tips. You're gonna pick your most forefront bandages first, like the ones that are in the front, because you wanna see those the most. So you see this giant rectangle, that's why we were doing our brush strokes, right? So you're gonna just sketchy style lines, kind of follow along your bandages, and you can give them edges like this, and then you just give a little bit of an edge to it, like pull here, just a couple times. And you can add little dashes and dots inside. Just be careful not to overdo it. You can always come back and add more. So this one, look at this bandage actually goes in front of this one. So we're gonna get that one on here. And if it's coming from underneath, you can still add a couple. Good shape here. And when you get down to it, like you can kind of make them happen wherever you want. These bottom ones, just kind of add in some stripes. I like to make sure the edges all have some sort of lining to them, like the actual outer edges. Okay, and then we'll do up here. All right, now all you have to do now is we're gonna outline our eyes and fill in the negative space around them. And you can change the shape of your eyes a lot during this too, so just be careful. Now to me, the mummy, like he's coming out into the light after being in the darkness, so his pupils would be super tiny, like pinpoints, like he just came out of the dark, like that. And he's done. I'm glad you like that one. I love them. I've been doing these for so long, and every year I still do them. It doesn't matter that I've done them every year because I think they always turn out cute. I feel like they're such a good beginner-friendly design. And it's funny because that's why I always say, like, it's a trust the process. I know it looks kind of sloppy as you're going along, but it really just comes together and it becomes this really fun, cute painted rock. So we are going to do the rest of these up. Well, maybe I'll do a couple of them now and a couple of them in a little bit. I do want to kind of start on these poison apples because I think they are going to probably have some dry time in them. I kind of messed up where those stripes were at. Okay. Again, outline those eyes first. Fill in that negative space. And it's funny, once you have them filled in, I've actually had situations where the way I thought my mummy was going, it ended up being upside out like this. This one doesn't work because it's definitely not in the middle, but like this one, when it's all done, it might end up looking cuter this way. That has happened to me before. So if you think, oh, something just doesn't seem right, try flipping it upside down. They're just so cute. Oh, I'm glad you like this one. Oh, thank you so much, Marge. I've been at it for a very long time. Okay, poison apples, guys. This one's the new one. This is the one we're making up as we go along. I mean, I do have my doodle. Where's my doodle? Let's start on a nice big one. Give me a little bit more space to work with. So I'm just gonna start by kind of sketching this onto the rock first. That way we can kind of work with it. I think what I'm gonna do is green poison dripping over a red apple. So I got red, green, I'm gonna need a stem, so brown. And I was kind of thinking of having some of like this, the whatever color I'm using, in this case, the green, poison kind of coming in from the edge, like if it needs something to kind of, sometimes I like stuff on the edges. We'll see if we need that or not, or maybe we'll do it on some and not on all. So the first thing I'm actually gonna do is put my stem on here. I know it maybe seems out of order, but I just wanna kind of give myself someplace I'm aiming. So we're gonna start with the stem. Right there. You see that? Just something super simple. Kind of like the top of a pumpkin stem. All right, and then I'm actually gonna start with the green. I think I'm gonna start with the extra fine tip just as I'm kind of sketching out the design, and then I will come back. So I'm gonna outline where my eyes are gonna be, because I kind of have this cut out of the poison, the eyes, to kind of give it that look of a skeleton. So I'm gonna get those eyes on there. I'm using kind of a wobbly shape. Ooh, that got real wobbly. Kind of a wobbly shape, like it's kind of drooping off, right? And I do have a nose here as well. And then I'm going to create like the drippy bottom. So we're just gonna kind of drippy the bottom. Now we're gonna come back and connect to the top. I can tell I like it already. That came together real well. How about that? Okay, so we got our green down. I'm gonna do the same thing with the red. I kind of just want to get it sketched on here. But I want a nice red apple. So we're just gonna, I'm not gonna touch the green. I don't want to melt the colors together here. Although I'm gonna do, I might just go ahead and fill the red in now. Because if I do want to almost go like onto the green, because I'm going to do the green is going to be on top. I don't want there to be any gap. Okay, now the bottom of an apple always has just the slightest dimple to it. So I'm going to just kind of dimple like that. And I'm going in just the slightest bit. I'll bring it up closer so you can see what I mean. From the edge. So I'm just in, because I want that to almost be like a thickness over the top. So your green line and your red line should not match completely. Your green should just be a little bit further out. And you can adjust that when we're filling in the green as well. So just go ahead and fill that in red. We'll fill inside the eyes and that nose space with red as well. I can tell already this is gonna need a second coat. So we're just gonna get the first coat down here. So it has some time to dry. Then we'll go from there. There we go. Oh, that's gonna be really cute. Neat, cute. I don't know if that's the right word. All right. I think I'm gonna sketch, I think I wanna do, I'm gonna let this dry. I think I wanna get my second coat of red on there, and then I'm gonna come back with the green and build on top, because I don't wanna go back and forth. I want those to be nice, a nice crisp overlay of the green. And the green usually goes on really well. Greens, blues, purples, that side, those cooler colors, for whatever reason, take to rocks so much better. I don't know if it's the pigment or what, But we're gonna do that whole process again. I'm gonna use the same 2 colors on this one. I was thinking I could do a green apple with like purple poison as well. Maybe I will do that one next because the green and purple usually dry really well. So if I start running into time problems, I can at least make sure I get one completely finished from start to finish. So we're gonna do purple poison on a green apple. So again, I'm just gonna use the extra fine tip while I'm sketching this on. All right, we're gonna do our eyes first. I do have a little bit of a crack on this rock. So when you have rocks that kind of have dimples and cracks, it's just good to like track where they are when you're getting started so they don't surprise you. You can work around them or with them. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this one. Okay. And then we're just gonna get the green apple underneath that. You can kind of see it when I tilt a little bit better. So try to kind of hold it like that. So again, I kind of got the drip in the middle a little low, so I am gonna have to work around that for the dimple, kind of come up near that. I have to fix that a little bit. This one's harder to see. Yours is looking too round. So your apple is always gonna pinch. So if you've got your apple shape, okay, think of the top of an apple, think of a heart, okay? So it's gonna kind of start curving back down like you're drawing a heart. And then about halfway down, that's when you can kind of taper it to be an apple. That almost looks like a loaf of bread. But so you're gonna have these kind of arches at the top that are gonna kind of come back in a little bit. I don't know why this isn't drawing on here very good. And then you have the dimple at the bottom. It's an apple. Does that make sense? Like, so if you start with kind of this, and I don't even have that much of an arch at the top of this because in my mind, the poison's kind of filling in that gap at the top. But see, it's just kind of rounded at the edge, because you could actually, if you follow that stem in, it could kind of be hardish. So you're gonna arch back in like you're doing a heart at the top, just a little bit. And then you can kind of taper it back towards the center. Does that make sense? Does that help at all? My paper is a mess down here. It's because I had all that white dry paint on there. Let me go ahead and fill. I think this one's hard to see. I feel like you can't see that at all. So let's go back to this one. I'm gonna get my second layer of red on here. I'm actually gonna pull out the medium size here so we can get a nice. Also, that little dimple in the bottom, I know it's kind of subtle, but it's just enough that kind of helps get rid of that round look too, just to have that little uptick in the middle there. That might also be helpful. See, I don't like, so I did my drip in the center there. I don't like that because that did hide that. Now I look like I have a little bit more of a square bottom going on here. So I think I might just make my apple a little taller. Oops, wrong side. A little taller to get rid of that. So I kind of got this like boxy looking apple going on right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come back here and I'm just gonna bring the apple down a little further so that I can dimple up. Fill this in on my way. I can still have it dimple. I want it to show the littlest bit here, so there we go. Much more apple looking. Yes, okay, good. I'm glad that's helpful. It's kind of hard to, without actually physically seeing it. I don't know if there's a service or a way to be able to handle that or be able to do that where we could do like lives where I could actually, you could show what you're working on in that manner. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this one in. I can tell already on these dark stones, this one's a little trickier and it is gonna take a little longer. So I do wanna always get at least one done. So we're gonna go in and go ahead and do this first coat of green. Okay. Flip this upside down. So see, this is why I wanted to get the red down first, because now when I come back with my green, I'm going to be able to really drip it over the edge of that red. Like that. And we could even have a couple drips. I'm gonna have this one can come a little further down and have a little drip coming from it. I like that. Okay. All right. These are not base coated black. This is just how these stones look. They're kind of all slightly different. I should have used this one's a little lighter. They're slightly different colors. Like this one even has stripes on it. They're all from the same bag. These are paint pens. So they're just acrylic water-based paint pens that I'm using today. And only thing I did with these rocks is rinsed them off under warm water. So there we go. I am gonna need to get back in there with the red again. I can already tell the stem is kind of disappearing on me as well. I almost feel like I can make that a little bit lighter. I wonder what is the jewel tone brown? There's a little bit of a lighter brown. I'm just gonna come in here with this lighter brown. It almost looks too light. So let's do that, and then we're gonna just go right back. So this is why, oops, I'm sorry, bonked you guys there. So you can come in and you can just blend right then and there. There we go. Doodle off the tip though if you do that. All right, so that's a much more acceptable stem. We are definitely getting there. All right, so the ones I'm using, these are dual tip Tuliart brand, and then I also got the jewel tone Tuliart brand that I'm using. They're both in our shop. There's a link in the to our Amazon shop in the description of the video, so you can get to all of the products we're using today. Same with the rocks, okay? All right, let's get back over here. We're gonna let this settle. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with it needs a highlight. I know that. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it in white or if I want to try to use like a light green. I'm just not 100% there yet, and you know me, I like to set it to the side and stew about it for a little bit. So this sign definitely needs a second coat. The rest of them look pretty good. And again, if you're gonna leave behind strokes, that's why I kind of usually like to have them all going the same way, because then it doesn't look as bad if you can see through it. Okay. Like this one is fine to me. His eyeballs aren't, but the signs themselves are fine. So I'm just gonna come in here and give him the rest of his eye back. I'm telling you, this is the first time I did them with paint pens, and I really like the way they look with dotting tools. The eyeballs themselves a little bit better, but they're gonna be fine. Take a little zhuzhin. They're gonna be fine. I'm gonna touch up eyes. Okay, so for the signs, I usually give just a quick sketch style outline to them. This one I'm gonna have boo, right? All right, now when you're building the legs for your body, I always do 4 up, 4 down. That's just how I do them. You could do them however you want, but I do suggest that you do give him basically elbows everywhere. So if you're going to, I'm gonna do 4 holding on to the bottom, because I don't think any of his bottom legs are gonna reach up to those sides. So I'm gonna come out to the side. I'm gonna give him an elbow, and then he's gonna come and touch like that. So again, out to the side, a joint or elbow. I don't think they're called elbows on spiders, but that's okay, like that. Now he's holding on. And then you can have them go however you want. You can have one waving if you want. So if they're coming up here, we're gonna go up, give him a joint. It can go behind the sign, and then he's holding on to it like that. All right, this one's kind of in a weird spot, so I think it's actually got to be this leg that's got that sign. And then let's see, this one over here maybe. Boom, boom. Okay, so we need 2 more down, 1 more up. So we can go, we should probably have one holding on somehow, right? I guess that one kind of is. Come out to the side and back to the body. All right, so now we got 4 up. So you can come out like this. It also kind of depends on how much space you have around your rock, or around your spider to hold on. So now he's got 8 legs. They're all doing something, holding onto something, holding onto the web. Dotting tools. Whoa, I normally would have one within reach. I got a little itty bitty one here. Something like this. You can load up the paint. People use them to make mandalas and stuff like that, but you can use them. They come in the pack that I have listed in our shop. I think there's 10, maybe not. Maybe it's 8 tools, and then they're all double-sided. So they're great for making the dots for the eyes. All right, so let's get his legs on here. We're gonna go 1, 2, let's go, 3, he kind of got away from me, 4, 5, he's holding onto the bucket. Maybe he's got a second leg that's holding the bottom of the bucket, because it looks like it could be heavy, right? 7, 8. And then we're gonna give him a little jack-o'-lantern bucket. And you could outline the jack-o'-lantern bucket if you want to. Even give it a little bit of like a little ribbing to it. Kind of like that. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, you could stock up on supplies over the years, but I do appreciate you using our link. They the dyeing tools are very specific. You can look on our channel and see some of the stuff that we've done with dyeing tools in the past. This guy's eyeballs are a little wide, wonky, see-through. Yeah. And his body looks a little see-through. Okay. We're still gonna go ahead and do his eyes. Now, he's not done yet. There's the final step that if you've followed my channel long enough, you know what my final step on him's gonna be. But that little highlight to me is so awesome. So let's see here. Let's have him. I like the idea of him helping hold up the bucket. I just don't think that delicate little leg could hold a candy bucket all by itself. Well, I didn't do as good on that jack-o'-lantern, but that's okay. Maybe I'll cover it and redo it. This isn't the one I repainted, no. So again, the signs. So get his legs over here first. Okay, his eye. Pretty good. Okay, and I think this one's probably dry by now. Yes, his eyes are very see-through too. I got to him a little bit. Oh, well, thanks, Mari. The replay will be on the page. It's we're doing 101 rocks, so this is a long process for these lives, but the replay is always available afterwards. You can come by and watch some. See you later, Tammy. Oh, no, you're not saying bye to me. You're saying bye to Mari, I think. Okay. Okay, what are we going to write on this one? Maybe, oop, that's the big end. I'm glad I didn't go with that. Maybe we can do a trick or treat one. So trick or treat. So maybe we'll do eek. That's a good one. I think I've done eek before in the past, possibly. Eek, boo, trick or treat, happy Halloween. So many options. You can have it say a lot of stuff. And the legs, I'm serious. Like, I just don't overthink it. Just give them 8 legs. Got candy. That's cute. I like that. All right, there he is. Again, they're not done yet, but that's all 5 ready for the last step, I think. Let me double check all these eyes because I want to be able to do the highlight, but the black is going to have to be dry. Oh, sorry, that was my glasses. One of these days I'm going to have to take somebody else's phone and take a picture of how I'm set up when I'm painting. I should have my husband do that. He is home. Because I have to like duck under my camera that's in a clip. My phone is in a clip that's hovering above me, but it's close. It's like in my face so that you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. I think those are pretty good. All right. Let's do our cat eyes. Now, I know I was saying I kind of like some of these, just like the black. I do feel like some of them you can see through. Like they're gonna need another coat of black. Do you see that? I think I'm gonna have to. I feel like I can see the outlines on them. So let's, real quick. They'll dry quickly. We'll finish up a mummy. Well, we should finish up all our mummies so I can actually have a stack of completed rocks right now. We're sitting at 2 finished rocks. These rocks, though, they are very porous, I would say. So they do soak in a little bit of the paint. So I would say this isn't really a issue with the pens too much, as it's just this rock style. Just do this really fast. Obviously take your time if you're working at home. I know I tell you all the time I try not to rush when I'm on my lives, but at the same time I still like to contain. I got about a 2-hour window. I like to contain them too. So if I don't get them all done in the live, then I will. Can I see the mummy? I'm doing the lines. Yes, I'm gonna line here. Did I already do this one? Let me second coat this one, and then I'm gonna line another one. If you want to just do it at the same time, well, I'll have one up close to line. Okay. All right, so let's bring this blue guy in here, and I'll bring these so that you can see him too. Here. But I might be in the way. All right. So extra fine tip. We're going to come in here, and again, you want to pick your favorite spots to start. Like I see this bandage down here is a really good forefront bandage. This one here, see how it's kind of in the forefront? It's in front of things. So if you want to go and just outline all your rectangles first, you can do it that way. And then come back and add your stitching, or not your stitching, but your hash lines, I guess. Like that, okay? And then we're just gonna hash in from the edges. And same thing, like start with a little bit. You can always add more hashes to it, but you can't take them back off, you know? I mean, you could come through and repaint the whole thing, but Nobody wants to do all that. So I usually do, you know, 2 or 3. Sometimes I let one fly a little further than the rest. Oh, thank you, Marge. Yeah, you can find us. We're on Facebook, and you know, basically more. I post most things here on YouTube, but Facebook is where I'm definitely the most active. We have a rock painting group over there too, where other rock painting creators can share their stuff. We've got some fun people I've met over the years that also do tutorials. But that's where I share a lot of the content. And a lot of it's shorter style content, like the lives are fun, but if you really want to know how to paint a mummy in 3 minutes, got that tutorial over there. Take out all the dry time for you guys. So as you're noticing, I am kind of doodling off the tip of my pen. When you're going over the top of wet, or not wet, dry paint, but I mean, it hasn't been drying for that long, you can get some of that paint into the tip of your pen, almost like dust would get in the tip of your pen. So if you notice it's not flowing, come to your paper, doodle it out. If they're not flowing, there's something going on. It should come out real easily. You shouldn't have to press hard. So take a little second off to the side if it seems like it's not working properly. Okay, so that's the lining. One more here to line, and then we'll do our eyes. Let's see, what do I got going on here? It looks like I got one kind of going this way, and then one going this way, and this way. Sure. And then sometimes I do hashes, like if it's coming from underneath, because I guess, you know, there could technically be a little bit of a shadow going on there because it's coming from under another. Okay. All right. Now we'll fill in these eyes and we will be done with 5. You don't think you did enough bandages? It's kind of hard to tell. So you think were they too thick? Maybe you can separate them to make them smaller. You could add a couple more close to the eyes, because you don't have to have, like, look how little amount of eye space this one has compared to this one. Like, both ways can look good. But you could always break your bandages apart to make more quantity. They're just, if they're smaller. Okay. Let's see here. I don't think rock is showing through. Oh, like so you have rock around your bandages? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, I don't know if I'm quite understanding. We'll get there. We've got time to solve the problem. Oh, the rock is showing through. So you could do another layer of bandages if you want to, or you can let that rock almost be like the color pop that's going on here once you have the lining on it. The white rocks, I get them on Amazon. They're in our shop. Linked in the description, you can find our Amazon shop. They come in packs of 50. I think I have the packaging right here. This is the brand, Life Top, and these are the 50-piece, 1.5 to 2 inch. And then the other ones I have, which bag is it? Right here. This one was also a 50 pack, the gravestones. This package. These are this one. Oh, nope, this is the wrong bag. Don't look at that. Because this one has the different sizes. That's not the right one. Sorry, that's the old one. Let's see if this is it. I started buying these rocks. I love this brand. There we go. This one. This is what I got. The 50 medium size, 2 to 3 inch. Really like this. This is really good. Both of them are in the shop. The other bag I showed you, it has different sized rocks in there. And while they are okay, it came with a lot of, is that the one that was small and medium? Or they had a bunch of small. So they were okay. I just wanted to be more consistent in the size. You're adding more. It was white bandages. Oh, okay. All right. So, oh, we got one more to go here. We've been on forever, and we only have 5 rocks done, guys, but our spiders are literally one quick step away, so we're gonna wrap those up here next. Our cats, we're gonna have to just decide if we're gonna stick with this black silhouette cat. I'm gonna do at least eyes on a couple of them, and you guys can decide which way you wanna do them. On the white rock, they just look kind of cool like that. So, where'd my lid go? So we've got 5 finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's finish up 5 more really fast here because these are one step away. The last thing that you need on these guys is a white highlight. You can decide if you want to double dot them or single dot them. I'll do a couple of both so you can kind of see. We're going to use the extra fine tip side of our paint pen. Actually, I might use the, on this little guy, we'll use this side. So I can bring it nice and close for you. So a double dot, you're gonna dot in the same spot a few times till you like the size of your dot, and then a single one down below it. So I'm actually gonna make that bigger because the single one looks about the same size. There we go. Again, 1, 2, 3, we're gonna dot a bunch of times to get that dot a little bit bigger. And a single dot, okay? Oh, and you know what? I was gonna add extra fine tip. So this is gray. I do want to give him a little smile. I just think the white would be too much. Just a tiny little smile with my gray extra fine tip. Just like that. Okay, so he's done. 6 done. All right, on this guy, since he's got really big eyes, let's double dot with the bigger tip here. I'm gonna dot, dot, and we'll use the other side for the single dot. There we go. All right. Give him a little smile. Just, you do not have to add the smile. One year I did, one year I didn't. I just like deciding to do the smile this year, I guess. All right, this guy, let's just do single dots on his, since they're different sizes. So I'll just do all the whites first. And you can even get it into the white area as long as you do it on both. Does that make sense? This side. There you go. All right. And put smiles on these guys. Okay. 5 more done. Now we got 10 done. The only one I don't think we're going to get finished with is all the poison apples. because they take too much dry time. But we are going to get back to that. All right, I am going to show you 2 different ways with these because I do like them like this. So we'll leave this nice tiny one like that. We're going to go ahead and say that one's done. And maybe I can watch. I don't know that I'm going to be trick-or-treating with my daughter this year, so I'll actually be at the table and I'll be able to see which ones are taken first. Maybe I'll kind of track it a little bit. All right. What color of eyes do we want to do? I want something a little bit lighter so it stands out. Let's go with this fun green color. So we're going to take the big end of a lighter colored paint pen. I like to have this be a high contrast color so they really just look bright. And then you're going to do 2 really big circles. And I'm filling them in almost by dabbing because even though these are dry, they can still pull up paint. Let's do that one. I'll do this color. See how this one looks. Okay. And maybe this blue. It's nice and light color. I must have been doing something with this guy. Okay. All right, we'll let those settle. All these need now is their pupils, and those ones will be done. Oh, and some whiskers. You gotta have some whiskers. The whiskers, obviously, you can take from where the nose would be, but just a couple wispy lines out to each side. Not a kitty without its whiskers. All right, now we'll put those to the side. Okay, let's work on this apple. Okay, we're gonna come back in with our red again because I still feel like I can see a little bit of stone through this, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna come all the way up onto that green. I don't want any line in between these when they're done. I just want this to be that super bright red, you know, that juicy red apple, you know? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this one in with the purple. See, that's doing something weird. Do you see how that was like light and dark? So I don't think it's shook up very good. See, now we're more solid. Still looks a little light and dark to me. There we go. I'm trying to think of if I blended with these, anything. It's just a little darker than I was kind of envisioning. And I'm really getting you guys with my glasses today. I feel like it's been except for right there, a pretty good angle today. I think the rest of them I'm gonna have to do the red and green. It's just too hard to see it. There we go. And that stem, we got to do the same treatment with that stem. Just kind of lighten it up a little bit. What did I do with that light brown? Okay, so move that one to the side. Gonna finish those cats. Should we? So I don't upload the full live to Facebook, but I'll make shortened versions. Well, I might make a shortened version of the apples. The rest of these I've already got shortened versions of over there, but I don't bring the whole live over there. It's too big of a file. It would take too long to upload. But you'll be able to watch the replay here on YouTube. Let's see here. Let's do one more here. At least get one more sketch while we're waiting on our cat. I should have my husband come over and take a... Hey, babe. Yeah. In between games, will you come over and take a picture of me? No? I just want to share after the fact what this looks like. I don't think, because I could... But no, I'm still alive. I always joke with them about my setup, and I don't think they know how interesting this all looks with my phone and my forehead. Thank you. Send them to me later. Okay. The red was like not coming out for some reason there. There you go. I'll share that. So here on YouTube, I can share like images and stuff in the they're like the community tab. I don't know. It's kind of like a newer-ish. Well, it's newer to me because I wasn't paying attention to it before. But every once in a while, I can drop like a link or a picture. So I'll share an image of what this looks like. I didn't even think about what I was wearing or what my hair looked like though. I can crop it if it's bad. All right, so we're gonna finish filling this guy in. I think I'm gonna have to finish my last ones later because my hand is starting to hurt and it is getting there time-wise. There we go. I don't know why the other side was like, I probably just needed to shake it up. Okay. Okay, we'll let that dry a little bit. It's almost your bedtime. So quite the different time zone. Almost your bedtime. If you feel comfortable, remind me where you're watching from. I'm trying to think of, I'm all the way on the East Coast, so I'm as far in this time area. Okay. Finish up these cats. Scotland, thank you. I knew you had told me that before. All right, when I do the pupils for my cat eyes, kind of think of the diamond shape, but it's really easy to have it get away from you. So I like to do a stripe, a vertical stripe first in my eyes. Just like that. It kind of reminds me of the old cat clock. I don't know. And then once you have that on there, then you can kind of plump it up just a little bit in the middle if you want to. If you like just the little striped eyes, you can leave those too. But just like that. And these are still just a little bit damp, but I just wanted to get the eyes on there so you guys could see them. So again, let's start with the stripes. It kind of gives you like a space to work with. And then we're just arching out on either side just a little bit, kind of almost like diamonds like that, and then it's just a little bit more rounded. So if it's easier for you to do the diamond shape first and then round it, you can. You started 15 minutes late. Well, did you catch up? All right, there we go. Hey guys, let me know how many of you guys gotten through today in the comments if you're painting along and able to comment. Okay. All right, so see, now you can see the difference, eyes and no eyes. And again, I'm leaving these two plain like this because I want to know. I'm going to be watching this year. Okay, so we're down to our apples. That's all we have left to finish. So we've already finished 15 rocks. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to get all 20 done live today, but I do want to do something else with this. Let's see, 9 rocks, nice. You're sticking with your one of each. That's fine, Tammy, that's fair. That's, you know what you can take on. All right, so it definitely needs a highlight. I've got this color green. I don't know if that's gonna be too much. I don't know that I want a white highlight. This would have been a good poison color though. Maybe I'll do another poison apple with this color. Maybe that'll be something I can do to change it up a little bit. It's like I almost think I could have the highlight be red. Like it's almost like breaking at that spot and it like leaves behind like a red highlight. Just to kind of give it that shape, kind of like. Just doesn't seem complete to me. It seems like it's missing something. Maybe I do need to do the slimy edges, like the poison edges. Maybe it's because I do kind of like, see how it almost created like a shadow when the two colors met up. I do like how that is there. You put a puddle of poison at the bottom. That's a good idea. I kind of like that. See, I almost want to see more of that, just that little bit of shadow. The poison, I think maybe it's because it's too flat, the poison itself. Like to me, I'm thinking it should be like shiny, so maybe once it's sealed, it will look better. I wonder if I could just kind of add some, I think I'm just gonna do my last coat of the green because I do need I want the drips to be the last layer. Oops. Oh, all right. If you have sensitive ears, plug your ears. All right, so this is a way that you can. I'm gonna do this really quick. And this is what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna take it away from the phone though, because this is not a pleasant sound. But you can kind of scratch it off sometimes. I got it good. Oh, this one doesn't want to scratch off. Maybe a little bit of direction. Did pretty good. Okay. I do like that. That little highlight, just something. It just needed something. I think when this one's sealed, I'm going to be much more happy with it as well. This purple, now that it's dried, I am liking how this one's looking too. I do feel like the shape of the eyes got away from me on this one a little bit. I feel like they needed to be a little bit more to the side maybe, to give it more of that skull-y kind of look to it. That's much better. Okay. And then, whoop. Oh, Marge, it's Susie. Welcome. I'm glad you found the channel. If you want to mark your calendars while I'm finishing these ones up, we'll be on again next Tuesday. Doing more Halloween rocks. So if your supplies come in and you want to paint along next Tuesday, here we go. It could almost use like an outline, but I don't want it to be black. Maybe I'll do like maybe like a white. I don't know. I'm indecisive sometimes on these things. You guys know this. If you join my lives, you know, you hear my rambles, my thought process, and I know that's why some people appreciate them. They don't always just come together perfectly the first try. All right, so I've got 2 rocks that I'm going to be finishing up later. You're happy with the apple, just need to work on the shape. Yes. Have you ever painted rocks before, Marge? Or is this going to be a first for you? Because I'm doing these for trick-or-treaters, but you can do them all year round. The Kindness Rock Project is like big all year. All right, I think I'm gonna do the light green. I could probably even do a light green on a green apple, and then I can do a red apple with the light green on it. So I've got about 10 more minutes before I'm gonna be I try to get off of here by 4:30. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to sketch a sun. We'll see how it looks. I might not be able to finish them, but I'll hang with you till I'm out of time. So let's do, so that's our green. So that would be green on green. Should we do a green apple, red apple? Just starting? Well, welcome. It's really fun. It's a great way to just get some creativity out. I feel like a lot of times we just don't even have outlets anymore to be creative. And I'm doing these for trick-or-treaters right now, but offside of trick-or-treating season, I place these out as random acts of kindness. A lot of people do that. You can place them around at libraries. There's a lot of local style groups you can find. That's how I got started myself. There was a local rock hunting and hiding group back when I lived in Kentucky a long time ago. That's where it all began. So we're going to do the drippies. Like that. And I'm just going to go for it and color this one in all the way. It's a good poison color. This actually could have been a good apple color too. It kind of looks like a golden delicious apple. Not quite Granny Smith. Green apple or red apple? Here. Oh, I love that already. It's so much brighter on the dark rock. I think that's what I needed. We're just going to do them both with the green poison, and then we can do 2 different colored apples underneath. So I am noticing, like, now that I've actually drawn out a couple, like, so your eyes, go on the arrow making them too big, because you can always make them smaller when you're doing your shaping. And your nose is almost like an upside down heart. There we go. Oh, that's great. I love that. Health facilities, elder care places as well is nice. Libraries is another one, and park benches. I've done, like, we used to go to the playgrounds. So when I started painting rocks, my daughter was quite a bit younger, and if you followed the channel for a long time, she's been on with me a few times over the years, but she's getting older now. She's 12. She will still paint rocks with me, but we don't go to the playgrounds and stuff like we used to. That's where I used to drop off my rocks a lot. We still hit the library all the time, though. She's my little book reader. This one kind of seems lopsided to me. A little more oomph on this side and a little less oomph on that side. There we go. All right, so we're gonna do the apple underneath on. Let's see, the red and the green, they both show up pretty well on both. So we'll get our apple down here. Just a little smidge there. Oop. And all these nooks and crannies. So we'll get all the way to needing a second coat on these. I keep pushing the bar. And you guys are used to that by now too. I'll say I'm getting off like 10 times, but I still have 7 minutes, and I don't want to rush, but we'll see how much I can get done. I don't want to hop off if I can get almost all of them done. But yes, if you painted along, please remember, it will be later because it does have to upload before I can share the link. Otherwise, when people go to watch, it's really, really grainy and choppy and does not look very good. So if they're gonna head that way, I want them to get a good video. And then I will make a shortened version of this poison apple once I get them all done and touched up real nice. As long as I have one filmed from start to finish on the live, I can pull that. Touch up the rest of them to share it, the picture at the end. All right. So they're close. They're close enough. I am gonna call it. I do like the highlight of whatever color is underneath poking through like that. That just gives it a little bit more shape. Let's see if we can get all of our 20 rocks. Let's see. I don't know if I can get them all in here. So if you joined in today, I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. I'm glad you guys are enjoying these. Again, it'll be next Tuesday. I'll get on in the morning and drop that link in our broadcast. If you haven't joined our broadcast over on Facebook, that link is in the description of this video, or of any videos. It's towards the bottom. Basically, it's like the Facebook Messenger, and I can drop links in there, and Facebook shows them to you. When I drop a link, like I shared the link for this video on the Facebook page, and it showed it to 100 people. And we have tens of thousands of people that follow the page. Facebook just doesn't love to share things to YouTube, which I don't blame them, to be completely honest. So we are done for today. Thank you a lot for joining in. Thank you so much, Marge. I'm really glad you got to join in with us today. Hopefully you will have some supplies and you can paint with us next week. And we will see you all soon. You have a wonderful week.